We are in our third week of Lent. We're almost finished the third week of Lent, in fact. Pretty much halfway through Lent, and let me ask you this. How are those Lenten penances going? They're going pretty well? Or are you like me from time to time? Like, I messed up again. What do I do now? Right? Sometimes we can get so discouraged. And we think, how am I ever going to make it through 40 days? And then we think, if I can't make it through 40 days, how am I going to make it through life as a faithful Christian disciple? What am I supposed to do? Well, my dear friends of Christ, it's only normal for these setbacks to happen. What's not, quote-unquote, normal is for you and me to wallow in discouragement. Let's remember that the word discourage literally means to dishearten, to take out one's heart. In fact, what God wants us to do is, even in the midst of our setbacks, He wants to encourage us. He wants to put a heart back into us. His heart back into us. So sure, you and I might have slipped here or there in our Lenten penance. What matters more? We just simply get right back up again and move forward. What does Christ do? Each time He falls in the stations of the cross, He gets back up again, carries the cross, and goes forward. Let's get some more encouragement from that. Let's look to, in addition to looking at the life of Jesus Christ and His own example, let's look at the life of a particular saint. He's not a canonized saint yet, but my dear friends of Christ, you and I know he very well soon will be. And I know I've mentioned this before in these segments, but great friend of mine, Venerable Fulton Sheen, let's listen to what he has to say in this amazing book, A Year with Fulton Sheen, about not being discouraged when you and I trip up in the life of Christian discipleship. He says, if at any time at all we are tempted to despair simply because of the accuser, of the false one, the evil one, the prince of lies, telling us that we're no good and that we might as well just give up because, look, we've already failed. All you need to do is to pick up the 11th chapter of Hebrews, that wonderful book in the New Testament. And he says, Fulton Sheen says, it's the catalog of the Old Testament saints. Read through the catalog of saints, he says, and then go back, and then you read the lives of those women and men in the Old Testament. They are all brands plucked out of the burning. Noah. What does Noah do after the flood? He gets drunk, and he falls in a drunken stupor asleep. Abraham. God tells Abraham to leave his country with his wife Sarah. But Abraham takes his nephew with him, and his nephew's wife, whom God did not say to take, and they cause him a lot of trouble. Abraham then goes into Egypt when there is a time of famine, instead of trusting in God and in God's providence. And then he sins with Hagar, and out of this union comes Ishmael. And yet Abraham is praised for his faith 11 times in one chapter in the book of Hebrews. Moses kills a man. Samson, an adulterer, would not go to war. Samson, an adulterer, breaks his vows as a Nazirite. Barak, general of an army, would not go to war unless the woman Deborah went with him, so he could lean on her military judgment, etc., etc., etc. You know, in the Old Testament, Fulton Sheen says, it seems to be entirely different characters, these individuals. Sinners falling over and over again and failing time and time again. So God chooses them, not just because of what they were, but because of what they would become. God chooses them not just because of what they were, but because of what they would become. My dear friends of Christ and saints in the making, if that doesn't encourage you, if that doesn't put a new heart in you, what will? doesn't choose us because of what we were, and frankly, even because of what we are right now. Out of supreme and unconditional love, God chooses you and me because of what we will become through his grace. So since in the making, make space for grace.